Yeah. No, but it needs to go with us. Even if it's really like, he doesn't want to go to. Oh, no, look at it. No, but I'm not allowed to go back to and then maybe I'm gonna do better, go with you, or you can do something.
I think my friends do this like wow.
For all the it's probably, it's absolutely, it's probably, it's better. You think so? Yeah.
I've never.
If you say that, sure, you can drink coffee. Yeah, but they're right now, sure. Three washers. Yeah, my friends and actually, you have to get it. Like, no, I'm it's a really small. And I was going to do it where like I'm going to do it where we got the developers that we can hit that.
Is it?
Sorry. And it went up. Atlanta. She's like me. Yeah, it's one of my fans.
Okay, I'm going to call this meeting to order at 3:03 p.m. We'll start with roll call.
Okay, Karina?
Here.
Ryan?
Here.
Catherine?
Here.
Jackson? Not here. Nathan?
Not here, excuse me.
Okay. Savannah?
Here.
Della's here. Lauren?
Here.
Sloan?
Here.
Kelsey? Brayden?
Here.
Okay. Marianne?
Here.
Ernesto?
Here.
Jade?
Here.
And Bryce? Here. Katie? Not here. Okay. Caitlin?
Here.
Ariana?
Here.
And Lindsay. Okay. Hi. Who else? So we're all here. And I'm getting your name. Eric. Okay. So we're good.
Okay, so before we approve the agenda, we have to make a couple amendments. The date and location are wrong, and then I'm that girl will not be doing an event request today, so somebody. So, this movement stands the date will read Friday, February 5th, 2016 in San Carlos River Post Office, and that girl will be taken off the agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of approving the amendments, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? So with that, we can approve the agenda. All those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Approval of last meeting minutes. Okay, all in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, call to the audience. Is there anyone who wants to speak right now? You'll have a funny request. Yeah. Okay, cool. So then we're going to move on to the CHS Senator confirmation of Hunter. Is there a motion to? Second. Do you want to say something really fast?
Just happy to be here.
Okay. Okay, all those in favor of appointing Hunter as CHS Senator, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Yay. Congratulations, you can So you won't be voting at this meeting, but you get to, So now we will move on to funding requests. The first one is from the Nursing Professional Association.
Okay. Hi, my name is Angela, and as you say, I'm with NPA, which is the Nursing Professional Association. We requested $238 for 200 hardship stress balls, $473 for 75 t-shirts for our general members, and $140 for 20 polos for our executive board and supervisors, for a total of $851. We would like to request a lower price for the polos, being $42 for only 6 polos. With this change, the total we are asking for is $753. The actual cost for the polos is higher, but we will be paying the difference. The reason why we are requesting a lower quantity is because we only have 6 executive officers, and it will be unnecessary to pay for that many extra polos. And we are hoping to get the stress balls and t-shirts for our next meeting, which will be on February 29th, if possible, since the American Heart Association and the American Stroke Association will be giving a presentation. We would like to provide students with incentives at our meetings as well as throughout the semester in order to get more interest and to promote our club. That being said, the t-shirts and the stress balls are going to be used to attract more students and to promote our club.
So I know one of the questions that we had last time this was discussed was that you guys didn't have a venue set up, so it was just kind of like up in the air as far as the actual meeting. Have you guys made any progress with that?
We're looking into doing it in one of the health solutions buildings, the NHI buildings. We're still looking into the room, but hopefully we'll get it.
So what's the new total that you're requesting?
The new total is $753.
Have you gone through the college principal yet?
No, I don't think they have.
$752. Okay, is there a second? Okay, all those in favor of recommending the request to read $753, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? That's as well. Any other questions? All those in favor of approving the funding request, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstentions? Okay, it passes. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so moving on then, since we do not have a representative for I-9, we'll put that off the agenda. Moving on to the Andrew Goodman Foundation.
Hey guys, long time no see. So this is kind of a twofer. There are two things that we're requesting. One, and I'm not sure if this got sent to you guys, but it's a letter or email, post, whatever you guys choose to do, to the students encouraging them to vote. The Arizona presidential preference election is March 22nd, so the last day to register for that is February 22nd. So it's a letter just saying, hey students, you need to vote, it's very important. These are the numbers that don't vote, blah, 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 you can read it. So we just kind of want kind of a USGD seal, something recognizable brand to send out to the students, encourage more people to vote. The second thing is that we are having the event on February 22nd. It's probably going to be in Taylor Mall to register people to vote. We were wondering if you guys wanted to partner with us with that and combine efforts, and then we can all register people to vote together.
That letter was sent out for the agenda. I don't know if you guys saw it. Yeah, go ahead.
So staff background for this, with emails, mass emails, the council president's going to approve essentially about 2 or so in a year for the entire city money. We won't get that many. I'm not sure if you're going to elaborate on that.
Yeah, so Jimmy already sent me an email on this actually 2 weeks ago, maybe more now. And it's something that I'm personally totally fine with. It's basically checking on the documents that are left. So I'm basically checking with Savoli to see how many emails we can send out. The people, the admin and advice COP are also comfortable with this. They already told us. The only reason why I want to know the amount we're allowed to send out is because that then can affect our decision as far as we have to make sure we use that number carefully. If there are other messages that we feel the entire student body need us to reach out with. So.
As for options here, you can ask for us to do that. Basically ask for us to try to send it out just for on the list of organization. It was about 150 people that we utilized since the beginning. Or you could ask basically for us to list off all of our contacts and allow that. Many options here that can instruct us how to make this all off that. And the second part of the event, February 22nd does not necessarily interfere with anything particularly if it's in the middle of the day. We have fewer times stop that night on a similar theme. So just know that if we do support that, and we're expecting support from all staff, from on staff, if we're not going to get to run very well in the corner without that, and we'll not have to go that time. So we keep that.
That's what I was asking. It's a Tuesday, Thursday.
This is Monday, but still leaving that. So, nice. So, Louis, the real one, few since people come in, keep that in mind. Second one.
Sometimes see that.
Do whatever, do the morning, afternoon, all that.
So, did you want us to set a time for you, or you?
That's right. It depends on your guys' availability. I mean, if none of you can come in the morning, that doesn't really make sense to plan that. So I guess we'll just kind of figure out. I mean, if you guys even want to partner, I don't know, but if you do, and availability is specific to one time slot, it would make more sense to do that. So.
Are you guys feeling about it in general?
I mean, the idea is from I don't think. It goes along with like the rules of the room thing. Like if we did have like back to back, like we said like if the kids can't, or like the students can't go to one of them, they can make it their fault. So I'll just go either during the work time schedule here this one. We should be able to follow them. We've done voter registration event, organizations, so being a part of them, this is part of not pushing that issue, so it's a lead party.
Does anyone have any hesitations or anything? Right now, I guess it's a Yeah, see if we can work something out.
Is there any like training that needs to be done for like to register?
I mean, it's just like a form that you use.
There's some information that you need to know about what is required for people to be able to vote, education-wise. It's just a number, and things that you can't do, things that you can do, but it's all fairly common sense.
Do you think we could even expand it to do absentee, like showing exactly what absentee ballot is?
Yeah.
Because that was like one of my main things when I was talking about mine is it's actually a little bit complicated process. So I feel like we should do that.
So, yeah, what about the email? What do you guys think of that? Did you read it over? Assuming that once Corinne checks up on the email situation, we're going to go send out stuff like that, would you guys be comfortable with that?
How much of a priority is this if we have a limit? Because that's something you guys should consider. Because it's not just a yes, no, this is yes, this, or yes, athletics, yes, this, or yes, and a budget. What's your priorities? Because we need to know that.
What was the limit of emails that you guys are?
So it's 1 to 2, I'm not positive. So I have to email some following and ask if it's 1 to 2. It also, of course, depends on the content, but right now, the ideas that we're proposing to email out don't, in my mind, would be a problem to email the student body about. We've sent an email to the student body regarding the benefits of the athletics team, of course, that's a potential. My biggest thing is basically, yeah, I have to understand if I'm choosing between updating on a feed or this, and there's only one, what you guys want me to send out.
I think kind of being thought position of if there is a choice between something that's going to directly affect students and something that has to do with voting, you pick the one that directly affects students. You pick the fees, you pick the athletic fees, because that's what students are interested in too. But not saying that they shouldn't have this information to go. But like if there's going to be that choice or one or the other, I think the students would be more beneficial to get the actually affects.
I know if like that is the case, we could put it on our leadership page and then individually like send them to students, but I don't know how much coverage that will get. You know, but I do agree with the part, but I feel like it's important enough that we can push this out there other means of communication.
I was gonna say, if we have to pick between one and another, subject of email, why can't we sort of, not like a newsletter type format, but something that has multiple things on it rather than just one? Because if we're having to pick and choose between one subject and the other, I would be trying to incorporate them so that we just choose one.
So, thank you. So that's technically possible in the sense that that's possible to write an email like that. It's already, so what I'm gonna say, it's already hard to engage the students in the full length of one email on one subject, so it's not generally advisable. So it's technically something that you all feel would be best for the students, you could advise me to pursue, which is 2 separate subjects, but also if the subjects don't necessarily in the student's mind have anything to do with the other, it could be further disengagement. The students are gonna be like, this is strange, why did I get 2 emails from the student government? They're about 2 different things and they may not make it through the whole thing. And so that's something to keep in mind.
Also, I was going to say that I think like a good Facebook and everything, social media is great. I was also thinking maybe getting our community assistants involved with this too. The only downside I see about that is we're keeping it limited to Taylor-Place residents. We have far more students than just living in Taylor-Place. That's what I'm saying.
We've already been going to Taylor Place. We've had representatives go with CH for 4 meetings in, represent the Individual Foundation talking about voting. So Taylor Place is not taken care of, but we have gone down that road. Also, if you guys only have one and you choose not to, that's fine. I obviously understand, but there is also a sense of urgency with this because the deadline is in 2.5 weeks, and I don't know when you guys are meeting in to vote on this officially. But this election only happens once every 4 years, and this is kind of we don't really have time to, if you guys want to do it, to not do it. If you don't want to do it, that's fine, obviously that's your prerogative, but if you guys do want to do it, there is a sense of urgency.
So I guess, because I'm the individual that ends up having to choose whether I send out these emails and helping write them or whatnot, it sounds like generally the Senate is saying that when it comes to fees over voting, you want me to send out fees first, voting second. If I have room for voting, it should get sent out. And either way, we should respond to voting, we should do CAs, we should send our own emails, we should go to our Facebook website, we should support them as much as possible, but as the email the whole student body, fees and then that. Is that correct? Yes. And then I actually have a class for you too, but I will of course keep all of you updated, of course, when I hear back on that bonus, as far as if I have 1 or 2, and the decisions we make after that, so. Do you, by the way, all have do you have a specific date you want it sent out? Because I know sometimes two organizations have data where they're like Mondays at noon will be better, or if you just want it sent out as soon as possible.
We actually don't. I know that we do have the data on that, so we'll probably going to get back to you, but I mean, probably not like the 22nd at 10 p.m. But,
Probably.
yeah,
We can do it.
just your discretion.
Okay.
So does that answer what you're looking for? Yeah, okay, cool. So then we can move on. We're gonna move on to updates, starting with Vice President of Services.
Hello, everybody. Just a couple of quick updates. So we're gonna have slides for advice next week. Scheduled it for Wednesday, so I just put a broad timing for my space application on for it all. So we'll look at suggestions, availability, and see which time on the paper is the best to do slides for advice to revision the last time. I also met with ACPD this week to work with them about systems, their self-defense programs, and to talk about some of the concerns that I have from the central management perspective. And so they agreed to work through a little of their marketing on that, so that was kind of a pretty good one. The first recovery program meeting and showed up. So I have a contact in Tempe and the nurse supervisors to see what they can come up with, to reach out to the investors. So I anticipate the time to be low because there's we are all implications along that line. So we are looking for this time to do pay for students there. If it's something that students need, because if they do show up, they're needed. So the only other thing is that for Seminole Coalition, I was supposed to list that ready for the BAC, because it's availability is terrible, it's not mine. I can't do that because I'm not available on Wednesdays, so I hate you and have to figure out when to do. So.
Any questions for Kat? No.
Oh, I have one. Just ask for advice, is that like pretty specific like topic or?
Yeah, that's a good question. As of right now, it's just kind of a general feedback thing, unless you all have something you want to specifically talk about. So if you have any requests of things you all want to feedback on, we'll take that. Anyway.
We can possibly talk about the environment.
That's already good bring that up, so that would be a good idea to ask about.
Slow that. Okay. So, any questions? No, good. Okay, so on to Vice President.
Okay. So, we have a few things that have happened this past few weeks. The main thing that I'm focused on is just, actually, you guys will have this around. This is the agenda that we had for something very important, which is the AZUS, government collaborative, but essentially, after months and months, since June, in Tucson, we finally have a deal that will actually be accepted by UA, NAU, and ASU to actually have some statewide body to fight for budget numbers. It won't be at all basically federal, it's not outside of the student government, it's going to agreement amongst student governments to basically talk with each other, with their policy teams, to execute these things like lobbying days, which next one is going to be actually the 16th for us. We've thought about that. And our own, which is on the 25th, which is going to be student run. And it is a nightmare to try to schedule that in the middle of the session. We needed to have this back in December, if not earlier, essentially. But that is why it is so good that we have this finally almost done. Because once we have this, the students' governments will actually have the ability to work on their own as full partners with the board, with the universities, to actually engage with the legislators and not just be your potentially only or software, but actually be making our own interests, which is huge. There has not been a time like this in many years. So that will be coming back to the Senate eventually, because what we're doing is we're trying to basically get at all the Senates around the state to essentially approve this, because there will be some delegation of powers to the president and the basically policy to operate commissions to make sure that this runs on schedule. In which case, the president will be deciding whether or not something is a statewide priority by unanimous vote, one vote per university. That was a sticking point that really got some with NAU and Tempe basically battling that one out over Tempe wanting to have more numbers. But that is why this is so important. And also just for the sake of, since it's towards the end of my career here, this is why we love the board meetings. This is the only time we get to talk with ASNAU, ASUA, and the only time we'll be able to ever get something like this done. Because if you think it's hard to get this item done, to do that change from this group, think of it when they're basically not seen for 3 months on it. That is exactly the kind of situation we have. So be aware and be prepared for questions, because this is going to be a huge difference than anything ever seen before at this point. And it's something that we especially want to see, because there's people that I will admit at these groups do not really believe their Senate's do much except for pass legislation, and I don't believe that. So that's proof of one. And furthermore, the regions, you'll hear a lot more from Nathan. Do you want voter registration, by the way?
No, we should take that.
Okay, so the other big thing beyond that is we helped organize a little outreach with a bunch of segregated groups that we saw yesterday. And they managed to get 258 new students registered on downtown campus, a record-breaking for them and a single thing. And also about 190 plus on the permanent early voters list, which actually means a big vote just to actually get the ballot. That's the other half of the ballot, we should forget. So that's something to be basically proud of. We managed to get that. Our total numbers are now at 917 registered. So we're very close to 1,000. Be a nice number for we did last year. Yay! So yeah, that's the good news in that regard. Beyond that, the only other things I can say is just that I highly recommend just trying to come out whenever we can with these public coordinations with the state legislators. One more time, it's going to be Tucson. We try to bring as many people as we can, and because this is your opportunity to engage with these people, and this is the time to do it before you are in a situation where you're basically having these things on your feet. It's rough. It's interesting. And when we don't show up, things fester like the whole Tempe and NAU debate over. Really, like half the debate was that Tempe and NAU scheduled calls and other things, and they never made replies. So like 10 missed calls and something like that over a few months. And then Tempe not going to NAU or any ASU campus, going to the NAU ABOR meetings, and NAU felt that they were being basically ignored. And that nearly sank months. So, miraculously, I should probably be less monitored, but I'm just kidding. So, miraculously that worked, and so that's how we want to get to that. We're going to have a few more meetings with state legislators in one-on-ones. We're going to talk a little bit about how that we are very close to actually getting something bigger. There's a lot of thought that we can actually get in, and if we can do that, to get close, 24 million was the reason we got a $320 surcharge. I don't want to see that. I want to see constant attendance gone. And so that's the way you can make change if we are inches away from achieving something. The idea that tuition hikes are inevitable. It can be shattered. We do this here. So keep on with that, and then do give us feedback. Please, I'm going to tell them I'm talking way too much, but give us feedback, because we need to figure out what your priorities are and what to push, because right now we're like there's things that will start falling off by adding this. There is so much to do. Between parking and all the fun with that, air markers to do, between the other there's guns on campus, which, by the way, could and be put up to a vote next week on a Wednesday. It could be put up on another vote Wednesday after that. It could be put up almost anytime. I have no control over that. And so the longer we wait, the longer basically they can say that students may just be silently supporting this in massive numbers, and that's how it goes. Because that's one of the arguments that's being thrown at us right now. And other bills that we mentioned that this group has shown an interest in have already moved through the process, or just simply stalled out because there is no momentum. So we do need that help. And if you guys don't want to do it, if you don't want to prioritize it, vote no. Literally, I'm begging you to vote no if you do not want to be involved in it. Because that makes my life easier than trying to basically push something that we're lukewarm on and that has almost no effect. Because we gave you the entire planner saying pick and choose, because we have faith that you are representative and we have faith that you'll make the right decision at the end. All right.
Any questions? On to the presidential.
Hi, everybody. I'm sorry I didn't see you in the office as much this week. I got sick, so I apologize for that. I apologize for being sick. I'm so sorry. So the biggest thing I wanted to update you on, which is actually really exciting because, as you all probably know, it's hard to be able to find space downtown and be able to do something with it. So it's pretty exciting. One, he's going to update you on exciting, probably more about space, but I'm going to update you on the library. So if you remember, we've been talking with the library for a little while now, seeing if we can do something new with the space. They have a new university librarian who has a really great innovative vision about all the libraries across the ASU. And so I met with Christina Peck, and I basically asked her if we could use that library nook. It's very hard to describe. I will describe to you all later. But it's one corner of the library that right now is not really being used a lot. It's sometimes used for open group study. She's basically told the student government that they can make it whatever they want. So it's very exciting. She said us that we can start immediately. So it's really awesome. It's a really great opportunity. I know in the last exec meeting, I went through the entire plan with the whole exec team to make sure they were updated and provided feedback. I can go to the Senate caucus and do that with all of you, but I also just want to include you as far as working with myself and Lindsay as far as what you want to see happen in the library and the changes that you want to see made in there. Because I went through the ideas, like I said, with the exec, and the exec kind of like it. They said that it might be a little bit too complex, so we might be taking down one of the kind of ideas of it, but I really would like all of your feedback as well. So that's the biggest thing there. It's very exciting that we kind of get to use that. Lindsay's going to be super big help on it, so if you have any ideas, you can especially talk to her about it. But so that's exciting happening. As far as the reflection room in the library, right now, honestly, we're just waiting on it with the University Technology Office, which basically has say on this last admin office if they're going to use it or not. So I asked Christina if she would like me to go to meetings with the University Technology Office and whatnot, so that we can let her know if there is a student group that's asking to be able to utilize it. But right now, we're just waiting. If UCO has a staff member that they can put in that office, we won't have the space. If they don't, then we're able to use the space. So kind of how this works. Our whole library downtown, you're going to start to notice is starting to change a little bit because they're also putting in, for example, on that one long white wall before you get into the university classroom, they are putting a big chalkboard there that's going to have like a question of the week that they put up there and stuff like that. So they really are trying to make the whole library a little bit more engaging, and they're really hopeful ideas. I'm going to actually let Nathan update you as far as athletics fee review and whatnot, because he was just in the meeting, and he'll let you know about how our athletics fee representative and how we do. My biggest thing on it is that I got actually, I'm kind of a timeline, it's one of the deadline for the football ticketing booth. I was told to expect it by fall. So that would be incredible if we were one of the student governments that was able to push it and actually get football ticketing downtown. So I really want to congratulate all of you that were so passionate about this and helped push it through. The other thing I want to mention is that we're still going to be pushing for it. It's not here until it's here. So, and this is going to be one of the big things that we bring up as far as the athletic team review is that in the athletic team review, you all know that you will be helping advise me as president on whether or not the fee should continue with X stipulations, whether or not the fee should be repealed, whether or not the fee should continue with no stipulations, whatnot. The only thing that I'm doing is going through it line by line and seeing where we haven't gotten whatever is supposed to happen from a document not happening yet. And so one of the biggest things we're mentioning is the ticking group. And saying we brought this up as a concern the entire year, our renewal was a concern, we are now told it's going to happen, we're only comfortable with this continuing, it is going to happen in fall, what is it going to look like, stuff like that. So that's what's going on there. I'm actually waiting to hear back as far as what the actual ticking is going to happen now. As it is it going to be 1,000 wristbands that are locked down? Is it going to be some sort of print-off system? I heard about it. What is it going to actually look like so that we can expect it? And then we want to make sure that we let our students know ahead of time, because I know our students will be slightly frustrated that it changed again, but it'll be changing the way that they act. So it should be good. ASAMC elections are up and running for student government next year. You all should think if you want to be in student government next year, I highly encourage you to think about it. Student government is one of the best choices I've made as far as ASU, which is such a great experience. So if you want to possibly do it next year, I would think about it yourself. You would talk to staff members in other positions if you're curious what their positions are like. But I also want you to spread this across social media, talk to students that you think might be interested in running, let them know that it exists. Downtown, we have an issue with not enough people running. And we want people having to run against each other. It makes the candidates have to work even harder to better represent themselves for students. So for example, last year, Ryan and I, we technically wouldn't have had to do a campaign. I'm actually really happy that we decided to do a campaign. But technically, if you have a campaign running against you, that means you have to up your campaign every time they do. So it's really good if you can help get students run for positions because it means you're better representatives for all students. So please, please, please tell people they're due at the end of this month, but if they turn it in by, I believe it's February 18th, do not quote me on my Facebook. 19th, you can, VP. If you turn it in February 19th, you can actually have the Assistant Elections Commissioner review your application and basically tell you that you did everything right. So if students are worried about that, Jackson is excused, by the way, right now. He is actually missing because he's finally in that university-wide funding meeting that we've been talking about for 3-4 months. So I was like, yes, please go to the meeting, it'll be okay. The biggest thing there, just for you all to understand, it's going to affect our VAC procedures, and obviously we brought that down to you, but it'll affect our VAC procedures in the sense that we're talking about like the council coalitions. They're such as the Black African Coalition. They have a Maine in Tempe, like your Maine award, but that they want to do events for the locations. Is our VAC going to say that you can approve an event if it's just held downtown? They have to be registered here. How do we ensure no one's double dipping? Those types of questions are being asked. So you can expect the feedback from Jackson. You can also give them feedback in that arena, especially if you're going to VAC. I'm going to be meeting with the Chief Marketing Officer or someone in his staff. This actually came out of the executive board meeting where we asked, so you all know one of the big things I'm focusing on as far as my priorities is student engagement. I feel like we haven't actually gone as far as we can as far as that priority of ours, as far as how to really engage a lot of students when it comes to really interacting with our decisions and us being advocates for them. And so we're meeting with them actually just to ask how we can improve the USGD as a brand. ASU does really well as far as the brand. The Chief Marketing Officer I found out at A-Board who did branding for Code Zero, so that can fly. But we're going to ask him for advice and say, how can we better brand USGD? MVP nominations, thank you for those who sent them in. I would be announcing it today, except that we had to cancel the president's meeting where that decision is usually made because of A-Board. So you have time until next Thursday now to submit more nominations. So if you want to nominate or one of our MVPs, please do that. I was able to attend A-Board, that was really great. I just want to echo everything that Ryan said. It really is a wonderful opportunity. So it really is necessary as far as if you want to see anything happen across the state. The last thing is that the I Go to ASU Because campaign, we've been talking with the presidents, and what happened is that we met with ASU now, and what we realized is that they were actually looking to place a lot of the responsibility on the student government, which is fine. It's just that I don't know if we necessarily need infrastructure to handle that huge and constant PR campaign. So we're actually going back to them and saying that we do really want to partner with you, but we would love if you could help us more on the video side. And so you might see happening, it could change, but I'm just building the conversation now. What you might see happening is you might see us doing something where we do a couple days of events where a tent might be set up on Taylor Mall and all the other locations, where we record a lot of videos of students saying why they want to go to ASU, why they went to ASU. And then ASU now is in charge of getting them out on a daily basis. Right now, again, they're still taking Snapchat for it and getting out like maybe 3 a day. And right now, what we're thinking is, because at first, what they were thinking is that once we started, it would not end until the end of time. That we'd be starting forever, which is okay, except it's a lot for us and understandable. And I wasn't gonna email her and be like, this is yours, good luck. So what we're doing right now is we're thinking of collecting all the videos and then doing like a month of it actually launching, and then defining what success would be in that month and see if it was successful, and if we want to continue it, if we want to change it, whatnot. So that's kind of what we're matching right now. Honestly, the COP has actually gotten most stuck up on the question of what is a successful campaign. Is it how many shares versus how many shares each video gets? Is it that people comment on our videos? Is it that like them? Whatnot. So if you have better ideas as far as what a successful I go to ASU because we are campaign would look like, that's actually where COP is the most advice right now. And then I will be eventually asking if beautiful faces are included in it, and we'll get more beautiful faces to be in it. And maybe they'll do my ideas. Okay, thank you. Yes?
I was looking at the ASU elections website, and I know that there are going to be info sessions,
Yes.
but it says there's none as of now. So do you have any information on info sessions for the election?
I don't have right now. By the way, just so you do know, we do have an assistant elections commission you all approved for last time. I and Lauren and Ryan and Nathan and I think Kat too, we all should have her contact info. So also if you do have any specific questions, you're always welcome to reach out to her. But I don't know actually as far as right now. So I'm sorry. And I also, by the way, did ask the question of when the professional marketing is going to be happening. I think there was a misunderstanding of my question because they said after, right? Just when campaigning starts. So I'm not asking again. I think they thought I meant candidate, like their platforms and their advertisement, but I meant like ASU election. So, but I have been asking that question so that we have some actual marketing out so that the general student know. But that's why I'm pushing you all so much. There is no general marketing right now. You are the general marketing right now. So I need you to help push it out, please, so that we can make sure people know about the ASU elections and they participate in student government and run for elections. So, okay, any other questions?
Okay, staff, so Director of Administration.
Not at the moment. Always, I cleaned the office up, so everything. I mean, it's not that great. I still need some more fix next year, but what I'm hoping to do next week is figure out, we have our outside coding, so I'm trying to figure out maybe I can source some legal everything, and just get everything kind of reorganized. So if you have any questions or you have any ideas, let me email. But other than that, I think I'm good on updates.
Thank you for doing that, by the way. Director of Public Relations.
Hello, everyone. So my updates. Thank you all, Senate, for turning your blog post on time. You guys all need it. So it's nice to see all of you instead of red. So I posted 3 blog posts this week. Jade, Ernesto, and Marianne just went live today. Marianne did first was super cute formatting, which isn't compatible with WordPress, so I was able to publish hers as like a PDF. So if you look at it, it's like PDFs and then you put it on to expand. So just in reference for the future, if you want to make it pretty, that's how it's gonna look. But generally, we should stick to just like plain text and then format it. Right. So yeah, so thank you all for that. So I scheduled 3 this week, and then I'll schedule probably 3 or 4 next week, and then schedule 1. So if anyone has any questions, and then new senators who are just appointed, there's will be you guys will be due next Friday. And just let me know if you have any questions on that. Pictures are highly encouraged. I also created a pictures. I said this email to Senate before. I created a folder in my drive, so it's under Department of Public Relations. There's just a folder called Pictures. And if you have any pictures from like USGD events or, you know, you hanging out with another senator or something, go ahead and upload those there, just so that I can use those as kind of like stock images for social media, and then they do. So make sure to do that, because I'm the only one who's uploading pictures there, and I'm trying to like put images on Facebook for like our position of the day, and it's like the same pictures because I want to like the entire. So if you have any, put those there.
you, another executive board member, go ahead and email me because I need to set up a time to take your picture for the website and Facebook. And then the contact sheet. So if you haven't had your picture taken, go ahead and email me and we'll get that taken care of. The only with your availability is that. And then send me a short bio. Let's see. I've been doing tons of marketing stuff. I don't think a day has gone by where I haven't been in some sort of movie program. So I'm kind of chatting in marketing and social media. So if you know of anyone who is a master at social media or graphic design, send them my way because I think they do a huge job. I think that's it.
Director of Finance is in here. Director of Legal Affairs.
Hello. Happy Friday. This week I was working a lot on the New York Times talk, which is February 22nd. The room still isn't reserved. Well, it's requested, but not. And today I talked with some people from the New York Times who gave some good ideas for just like change it up this time. So we're working on that. Friday and Friday also. Yeah, and then for Passport, for the USGD giveaway that we've talked about a lot, we got a sample pennant. So it won't be exactly like this, but maybe similar. And if you have any like feedback on it, please tell me. We're still working on figuring out options as far as whether we should have a logo printed on it and or having a blank one. There's a big pricing difference, so yeah. They're kind of flimsy, but I'm not. And then for the volunteer program, the logo is basically done. We're working on t-shirts. Hopefully we can order next week, early Monday, for sure. And then February 22nd also is when that will start and open. So we're just going to talk about it.
I'm sorry. I'm sure that 22nd is the 22nd they asked. We have 22nd times, right?
Yeah. We can push it a little earlier. Later. Earlier. So that would be the 15th. Yeah, everything's basically done, so maybe the 15th. I'll send out an email when it's like my email. For sure. Yeah? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Class. We have class on the 15th.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, also I'm going to send out an email soon to everyone. It just has like the sample form that people will fill out if they want to be in the volunteer program. And if you would, just check it out, maybe fill it out, make sure it works for you. I'm sure it will. It's Google form, they always work. But just try it. And also, if like there's anything else that you think should be on there, shoot it back to me and you can have that. So yeah. Thank you.
Yoki, on to Director of Technology.
Hello. So what I've been doing this week is I've been working on getting live streaming on Facebook. So hopefully by the next meeting, we should be able to have our meetings live streaming through Facebook also in addition to our website. And the other thing I'm doing is I am working on updating the budget on the website because right now it's a little off, it's a little hard to understand. So I'm looking to make that more clear, separate it into a few different sections so people can understand it better and make sure all the information on the website is accurate as far as the budget goes. So I'll be working with Jackson.
Thank you. University Affairs.
Hey everybody, happy Friday. I'm going to try to go through this list as quickly as possible. So I'm going to start with ABOR. It was a great week over there. The agenda wasn't as big because they have done a lot before then, getting the budget ready, trying to get back a lot of money that was cut. from our schools. So we know that we're getting an $8 million supplied by Governor Ducey's budget. We're still seeking the $7, so go.
Point of clarification. 8 million is not guaranteed, nothing is guaranteed at the moment. That's just a recommendation that most likely will happen, but they can, we were guaranteed 75 million cuts last year, and then we got 94, then we got 104 million, and then it came right now, so.
Okay, so that's not safe.
That's not safe, that's not safe.
It's proposed. And we're still trying to seek the one-time $75 million to help us enable with all the funding. Sorry about that misinformation. There's some talk about changing up the academic calendar. They want to try to utilize classrooms more often, so they might do a discount of 20% for classes starting at around 6:30 in the morning, just to try to see if that might work. ABOR is considering pulling out of the current insurance plan that's offered to all of ASU faculty, and that's in hopes of saving money. There was a big presentation that they did because they're such a big entity, because it includes most of U of A, ASU, and some NAU, but this would give them a lot of buying power if they want to export out in the market, just to try to save some money. The academic quality discussions keep continuing, and they're getting closer to like defining it and what exactly it means to have value with our education. And they noted that by 2025, Arizona will be graduating 40,000 students per year, which is huge. And they want to make sure that they're ahead of this curve, that they can say, like, this is what we're doing, these are our bullet points, and this is what it means to graduate from an institution in Arizona. So they're just really trying to define that. For federal financial aid overview, there's been an increase of students demonstrating financial need, and it's increased 43% for the last 10 years, which is very interesting. Then they noted that at graduation, and this is only students that have taken out loans, is about 60% of ASU, or not ASU, sorry, of the entire state. 60% of students are taking out loans. And then the average debt for students in Arizona upon graduation is $14,000. There's a lot that goes into that, and I can get you those details if you need to.
Sorry, I know they gave you those numbers when we're looking at that. Is $14,000 the one that's averaging every single student?
Every single student. So, like the 60% that I just said, 60% take out student loans. So 40% aren't taking out any loans.
Yeah.
Those are included in the same numbers for the 14,000.
I think those are just Arizona students.
Right. This doesn't include the out-of-state students or.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they pay a lot higher.
Point of clarification, that was actually all students, but the ones that actually are Arizona only is like 13,000. And then out of states that are only, out of states with and out loans, combined average is 2,000.
And there was a big thing that passed right upon closing for today. It was Board Policy 1-118. It was a tribal consultation. I might need a point of clarification here. But I think it helped recognize folks on the reservations as in-state, and that they'll be considered that all the way across the board, instead of maybe having different types of interpretations with how they're applying to schools and all that.
So, ASU screwed up a few years back and committed research in which we used an example of a of tribe members, and they assigned a consent waiver for a certain study, and that was then used for other studies. And since then, the tribal communities of Arizona have been extremely cautious of ever letting any university do research on their people, on their land. And so this is a board-wide consultation policy in which the communities will have more of a say, and so it's uniform so that this kind of mistake never is made again, because that research decades. And then further, basically ruined the issues of relationships with the tribes. Now, which is not exactly entirely, it's not for me to that. That is also, so that's one thing. Oh, I can't.
Thank you, Ren. For Health Affairs Committee, the nursing program continues to grow, and they're starting new practices with evidence-based practicing, and just showing how well that they're doing. ASU students can now actually see male doctors. That wasn't a thing beforehand. The Mayo Medical Clinic, which is a collab with the University of Arizona, is still scheduled to open by 2017. No, that's what I said. Yes.
So, ASU is the one with the Mayo Clinic, banners from all the University of Arizona. That's some clarification. But ASU has Mayo, which is why we have nurses in cohorts at Mayo, and we're gonna open new stuff with North Campus.
Sorry for that.
We're really tired and we just got out of this, so there's a lot of information for that.
Yeah. So on the athletics fee review, I was on the call, and this was the very last point that they brought up, and they tabled it until the next meeting. There was a lot of other talk on this call that wasn't necessarily related to the ticketing booth, because I tried to bring it up at the very beginning, and they said they weren't at that point and that they would get to it later. So unfortunately, there was nothing that I was able to do on that front. There was a lot of discussions that went on with, there's a proposed change to the new student section on the north side. They're trying to, someone wants to create a young alumni section so that it will help populate that area. Apparently, folks are not happy that students are filling up that entire section for the entire game. Now, it comes along with building a program that's winning and all this other type of stuff, but they think if they build, or if they utilize some of that section for young alumni, it will help revenue with the stadium, but then it will also fill those seats. It also help build, just like folks always being attuned to what ASU football is doing. So they're going to discuss it further, but there was also talk within that committee that they don't want to do that because this was allotted for the students. And it goes along with the athletics fee. That's the agreement that we need to have those seats for those students. And I didn't know this at this point, but you may have already stated this at some other meetings that we've had. 25% of the seats within Sun Devil Stadium are supposed to be allotted for us as students, and we're not even at that mark yet. I think we're at something like 14,000, and that needs to raise up to at least another few thousand to get close. So it's interesting all that goes into this, and I wasn't aware of that until I set up this call. And then I'll finish with big news that we have going on. ASU was approved to acquire 34,000 square feet of downtown land at 372 North First Avenue, which is just over here. And we're purchasing it at about $4.6 million, but that will allow us to continue expanding. That's super exciting.
Can you tell people what I thought?
Oh, yes, thank you. So this is for, that would brought up another call too. They want consistency of who's going to be there. We had Christian Hernandez doing a great job for us, and what's the other gentleman's name? John. Yeah, have both stepped down. So we need to fill that permanently. So to make sure that there's consistency on the call and everybody's caught up and all that good stuff. So if you know of anybody that's very passionate about athletics in general, just have them talk to me, or if you yourself are very passionate with that, just talk to me so we can get that all set up and interview and get anybody appointed for less. That ends mine.
Okay, so I thought I'd share with you guys the results of the on-campus survey thus far. We have, as of right now, 118 responses on the survey. 59% of responses say that they oppose House Bill 2072, and 41% say that they support it. So it's not a huge divide right now. It changes every time I look at it, like bounce kind of. So that's just what it is right now. Right now, we need to keep getting as many responses as possible any way that you can. Talk to students, hopefully let their advice for that. We can do that, but just know that if Karina gets word that they need our basically stance on this like sooner, we're gonna have to take action like really quickly. So just be ready for that in the next week, 2 weeks, just in case that might be a thing. but the server's doing well, so thank you guys for pushing that out. So I guess I'll just do my favorite ones now too. So I had a meeting with my dean today for Barrett. She talked about, she had recently had a discussion with some of the other colleges and kind of trying to give them updates about Barrett, and there was like, not like an argument, but a heated discussion about honors contracts, and apparently in one of the specific colleges, there's a lot of issues with students not completing them, and professors are kind of upset about it, so she's working with them to try and see what we can do about that and how we can raise up that opinion, I guess. As usual this time of year, they're having a lot of problems with housing exceptions, everyone wants to leave, and they're having a 2-year policy. So we're all aware it's not the dean's fault. It's not coming from her, it's coming from above. By joining Barrett, you're expected to live on campus for 2 years. Of course, there are exceptions as far as financial and stuff like that, but that's a lot of issues that they're having. And then, so she is also trying to create a system where the students are able to interact more with like thesis workshops and stuff like that. So instead of just having the dean come in and talk about what you need to do for your thesis, a student who's already completed it or in the process can come and talk to us. So it's more of like a peer level instead of just someone giving you like step-by-step process. So those are the major updates I have. Yeah.
Is there any talk of new fees or differential tuition? And have they explicitly told you that they will not be seeking either of those because this is tuition season?
I asked and there are no such things. Yes, that. There are no more questions. Can we move on to the rest of the fair?
Hello. My update is more with Priscilla. I am resigning after today for all that. This decision does not come from the organization or from my job at all. It comes straight from continuing 22 credits and working a 20-hour job. And I'm trying to throw USGD into it. I can't do it. I'm getting 3-4 hours of sleep a night. Really not good. So I am stepping back from my position, and at the end of this meeting, I will be. I will miss you all a lot, and I already cried for it. And yeah, I really enjoyed my time, and thank you for letting me grow and learn about policy and get to talk to the students and make a connection with my dean. And I've enjoyed it. He's sleeping me, so this is what I
do. College of Nursing and Innovations. Hi guys, I'm Amy. I'm the new senator for Con-I, and I've been working with Lauren in the past 2 weeks and I've been adjusted to the position, trying out all the responsibilities, what student weekly, what student bi-weekly, all the meetings every week that I have to go to, making sure that all of the priorities are straight for USGD. And then I also read legislation this week. So I wrote the resolution wedding, which is going to be exciting to present that to you guys. But like my biggest concern is that I want to make sure that I'm doing all my responsibilities correctly. So like even though I might be doing that, they might not be right, or like what you guys need from me. So I would really appreciate it if I like send an email or like send like a report and it's not done correctly. I would just love like feedback on like, hey, can you adjust this? Or can you do this a little bit better? That would help me so much trying to get adjusted to the new position.
Oh, sorry. I was like waiting for a while, but alright. But so a lot happened this week. On Monday, I had math hours and I worked on a lot of different things. So I prepared for my meeting with Senator Edie and Capital with Brian and Veronica. And we had several points that we talked about, but my main point was talking about HB, two, 7. Yeah, sorry, I was like, there's too many. But That's about a commercial paper, and what a commercial paper would do is allow a board, like, I know a board was doing kind of push for this in the committee meeting that we were, had been sitting in, but it would allow, a board, to take out a commercial paper, which is like a loan, separate interest is way less, so, it would be for immediate like, emergency use, so it would prevent something like a surcharge on what happened for state students, this last year, so, we could cover it, and then it would be between, I think it's 6 days to 270 days to pay it back, so that's like, so you have 9 months to pay it back, and the interest is lower than, just, like a normal loan, so that would be really beneficial for us. And, more increases and little surcharges like that, which can add up, so, I know, we did a lot of cool things that's happened, we kind of explored, and there's actually a lot of cool things that we didn't know that was there. And we got to, like, we ran into a bunch of senators coming to meetings, and it was really cool to see, and I really think that it's really important to meet with our senators and try to find time, like, it's important to get support. The senator is already like a really big advocate for education, so she was that's like an interesting point that we can think of making sure that trying to push for ASU getting promise for when you come to school for freshman year, that's the tuition you pay for your 4 years. So that doesn't mean that it won't increase for anyone that's incoming, but like once you pay that amount, that's the amount that you're going to pay for your 4 years. So U of A already has that in place. I don't know if NAU does. NAU already does. So ASU is the only university that doesn't. So, I mean, we have that promise where it's a 1% increase. But I would like to see it push for a frozen kind of tuition so that we know exactly what we're getting and what we're paying for all 4 years. So I think that's like really cool to see. On Tuesday, I'm going to be interning on how to use the calendar and schedule things, and then I scheduled a meeting with Heidi for Key-Type on 29th, so we're rolling that out. And then on Wednesday, I go to Senate Resolution 1 later. So a lot of exciting things. And I went to a meeting before with Leo and Ryan and Nathan. It was really cool to see, and it's kind of some days where like I've been at April all day and talking about stuff that April has. But it was really cool to see, and I think like as senators we should try to come to more things like that, or like help out with trying to, I guess, for getting support for education. It's really important that, and even though I'm not in state, like it's important that in-state switches lower, because then that feeds over to out-of-state students as well.
Has your dean specifically, basically said no to any new program tuition or?
We haven't met with her yet. It's on the 29th, so we will be asking those kind of questions on the 29th.
You can also put that as part of your monthly, you ask, or if you're planning to ask, you should plan to ask, if you have not already. If they spring up, you get surprised. It happens. Yeah, it's unpleasant. But okay, any questions for Ms. Baker? On to College of Public Service and Administration. Hey.
Still pretty new. Ernesto and I met just to kind of go over like some goals that I kind of identified. So we kind of aligned together. We're planning a couple of days to see which we both can meet our team and see what would work. I really want to like do a meet and greet so the students could like from the college can meet me. Getting my bio on the website, she kind of talked about it, so that was one of the things. I sent out the survey to a couple of students, so that's what I did with my week. I'm sorry. First, I'd like to welcome our newest senators and our directors and commissioners. Thank you guys for joining us. Also, I'm going to miss you, Sloan. Sorry I'm being emotional, but I'm going to miss you a lot, so thank you for your service. This whole week I've worked with EAC, External Affairs Committee, so we basically goal set for the entire semester. We did Earth Day. They mentioned Earth Day. They worked on Earth Day last year. So with that, we want to bring that project back. All the senators said that it was really successful. They had kind of like a mini marketplace. They invited different vendors, and students came in, and then they had recycled paper, and for each one they had like points, and they got like a fresh loaf of bread or something like that. So we want to work with that. Also, on EAC, expect more polls from us regarding legislation surveying our students. I want to keep that a top priority for us because our students, we wouldn't have this position without them. So just getting their feedback on legislation, asking them questions about it, informing them at events and such. That's a priority for us right now. My intern did resign. She was with us for about 2 weeks, but she resigned due to personal reasons. So we currently have 2 intern positions open at the moment. Martin and I are working on Passport to Phoenix, so we'll be helping Bryce with that. We have to do outreach to local businesses and also our student works. So we'll be doing that within the month. Other than that, and go ahead, Ryan, before.
Well, this is good. If you mention it,
I haven't mentioned it yet.
We're talking more now. Have you talked with college administration about specifically outlining that there will be no new either differential programs, class fees, etc., or tuition?
I have not heard any feedback regarding price fees from the college administration.
Will you bring it up at the next meeting?
I will bring it up at the next meeting. Like Martin mentioned earlier, we are scheduling a meet and greet within the month. Our schedules are really, really hard to work with, but I'm making it happen. So I'll be doing that.
Will it be done before the end of mid-March?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I will.
So this week was mostly me just like getting with things. I'm currently working with a student about online test proctors. So hopefully I'll have a bill ready for that coming up soon. The other thing I worked on is when I was an intern, I was doing USGD to promote voter registration, like absentee ballots, just smart voting. That transferred into the New York Times Cafe, so we're working on teaching that. That was a huge consulting, but we might be moving it now. No? Okay, we're not moving it. I did a DSC meeting, which was actually really cool. We have not met with the dean yet, but that's going to be February 17th. I'm excited for that. And like what Heidi said, if there's something that I'm doing weird or not, right, let me know so that we can fix it. I don't know.
Thanks. As far as the online test proctoring, just keep me in on that, because that's actually something Christine, the library, brought up. She said that she's had other online students tell her that they go to the library for resources and they don't always have the software, and they don't always have the space for it. So actually, I would love to kind of do that.
Sounds really Thank you. Okay, like I just said, we have a meeting with our team scheduled for February 17th. I will ask them about funding. So we are hiring a Pompeii Senate intern. Just interviewed her today, but I'm working with her, so great. So developing training for that, and we meeting with her next week. We finally had 10 senators, and then we're down 1. So we're looking for a Barrett senator. And I'll miss you so much, but we are looking for Barrett senator.
Sorry, Ron is why you're laughing so bad.
And then, of course, always looking for CLS. But yes, just continuing interviews. Had lots of chief of staff interviews this week, as well as one for director of state affairs. So just interviewing with that, working with minutes, that kind of thing. And then Dropbox will be rescheduled to next week. I'm sure you got my phone email.
Yeah.
My phone,
Really
my
strange.
phone goes out. Yeah, so that'll be rescheduled to next week. Hopefully, I'm thinking Wednesday because that worked really well for us for BAC, but I'll send out a poll to see. And then just so to update everybody, in case you didn't read my blog post, we are revamping interview questions to make it more centered on our core values and implement, not centered on it, but implementing some core values into our interview questions and interview process, that sort of thing, as well as creating more specific interview questions that are not
Solutions.
Awesome. So this is actually a really busy week for schools. I'd like to see this. I spent a lot of my time trying to get this feedback from really which requested these meetings a lot about feedback is awesome. Actually not awesome. And I'll detail all the feedback of that in the very next. I worked with a student at a PBE class and I was told that's people using don't space for that, but we're trying to work on this, see what happens with that. Hopefully it ends up working out. Mayo back in school is one of the last time I've used and it's sold out without 36 or whatever. It's a huge thing for freshmen and sophomores because the most 75% of UMass students end up not being met by the end of their sophomore year. So if you know anyone who gets away with that, just I did think about a time plan this week, but it's flexible, so it's not I had a co-center. And Brian, my assistant dean, did say that we don't expect any increases, but she would keep updating us. She also did not respond to my question about scheduling that interview. She really hates to move back. So, I'm trying to interview a few more over things, but I think February because it's very interesting. Sorry, that was really easy.
Yeah, good. That was great. Just speak louder next time. Sorry. I might be deaf, but okay, so done with that. Sorry, was that quiet? Okay.
That was quiet.
Okay. So we can move on now to Senate Resolution 12. Is there a motion to discuss?
Motion to discuss.
Second. Okay. Brandon, you wanna take
Yeah,
the?
I really do. It's the best feedback I've ever gotten. That worked out very perfectly. It's where we got approximately 50% and 50% state non-state. So it's 50-50 people we surveyed. We got 41 responses. Just kidding, we got 39 responses. Through that poll that I sent out polls to West, East, and out to ASC. And for B students, so we have to survey basically all of them, basically except for all these and 43 that students, so it's decent stuff. Of those 39 students, 75% can say they voted yes, 25.7% said they would vote no, and of course, there's yeah, that's like 4%. So it's kind of like, if we're going based on some I think it's weird that we should be voting yes because students are, majority of students are saying that they would vote yes. Is there any other questions?
I just had a question for the chair of EAC as far as after this was given to EAC, what, and it could be just that you all decided to give out a survey, I'm just curious what the decision was made as far as researching it and getting survey done.
So basically,
Oh, yeah, sorry.
okay. So basically, within ASU, when we had an EAC meeting, we were trying to find a way to gather student feedback, and we decided that a Google poll or Google Forum would work best. And then I basically took initiative to make that, and then we just sent it out to EAC. Next time to improve on that, I will definitely send it out to the entire staff of student government. This is my first time, apologies. But other than that, like, we will look forward to doing more polls with Google Forms, and as well as Senator Yvonne did message me with some confusion on it. And me personally, I read it like twice, and I kind of understood it more, but I feel like we should thoroughly go through it. And EAC, like you mentioned, this was tabled for EAC to pursue here. So with that being said, we will further analyze legislation to the External Affairs Committee. So all our senators and our staff will all inform on what the actual legislation is. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, as a follow-up question. Did you guys, with the survey, was there any context given to 12.123, or was it like 12.123 is short game?
Yeah, so, sorry, I can send both of you the title just says top 143 feedback and description, and then the description outlines the entire bill as posted on the page was. It gives the background to the bill and context and what the bill actually is. So.
This is like, this is not anything about, sorry, you guys have been mentioning you want corrections and all that stuff?
Yes.
You got referred to EAC, not tabling correctly.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
sorry about that.
No worries.
Also, continuing on that, it was late notice, so that's why I took this out to the entire staff use should be just created and sent it directly to EAC. That's what I was going to do. So, just in case you're wondering why it wasn't.
I forgot what I was going to say.
So just forget. I don't have to go on anything. Things that.
Is it nice?
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
But the reason it's like great feedback is because there's no preference in these across it. So we can have P50, so it show bias either way. So you can really see that 7,000 is like actual split, not just like being surveyed.
I also like when I read it that there wasn't a stance that talked about student government values if you said yes on this or you said no on this. It was basically the description. Do you vote yea or nay? Are you in state or out of state? There was no personal bias within the Google form, which I really thought was
So I'm gonna push that, I guess, a little bit more too. So is all the senators aware of the arguments for 12.123 and against 12.123? So the board gets your feedback, but also for them to understand the entire issue. So I just want to make sure.
That was one of my issues, maybe looking back at the Google poll, is that it doesn't really explain the against, or the for side, no, the against side, that explains that, like the original amount that you're supposed to give.
What I can do from now on is possibly meet with Brian weekly just to get more understanding of the legislation too, so I can forward it to the senators. Because we really have to completely understand what we're giving to our students rather than, how do you feel about this? So I'll be meeting with Brian more on a weekly basis, the whole time, so.
I'm like trying to. I have a question actually.
Go for
What
it.
is being voted on? This is for Ryan.
Alright, May 17th, I go back to you.
So what I propose is that we can extend it out again until we get more feedback, but this time include like a for argument against argument with no bias. Like this is why it should go for this one against. But then like really because we still have time to but I do want to hear your feedback on that because you guys know
I would propose tabling it or referring it to EAC again, and then with our knowledge of it, with our full staffs, and sending it out. Maybe developing some kind of infographic that says like pro con, and then, that sort of thing that makes it really easy to digest, because it is sort of hard facts. That, like reading this paragraph might not translate to all the students, so maybe something that's a little bit easier sitting it out again, and then having our whole staff.
Alright, perfect. So I like this. Obviously, that's why we wanted to bring this up, see what you want to see, yes or no, whatever. Bringing up one point that I mentioned at the beginning, how much do you value this in comparison with our other priorities? Because you are now going to be launching a full-blown Prop 123 survey, a full-blown Guns on Campus survey, and you're going to get bombarded with other data issues as well. There's so in the grand scheme, I'll tell you that early March is going to probably be blockaded out of the budget stuff. And that won't even be stances, that will just be the already I need to look at or easy to send. Late March, you're going to have difficulties with elections just among yourselves, but otherwise it's pretty calm. And it's wrapping up. April is traditionally when there's almost nothing at the legislature and all the bills go off, and then obviously that's preparing for this competition to go in full swing of the elections. So there are multiple things to be considered of. HB 2072 could move at any moment. It could move next week. It could move at April. It could not move at all. Don't know. Don't have any idea how it's going to go, but I'm expecting it to move sometime in the next week.
I don't know if we really touch base on this, but what are the other schools or campuses?
There is no current discussion really going on with most of the other campuses. We are the most proactive ones. I want to pay me potentially to pay, and they have not talked about this. They've talked about issues.
I also want to mention, I know this is separate from Senate Resolution 12, but I do want to say, speaking on behalf of the Guns on Campus, I do want to say that all the other campuses here at ASU did have polls, and we were the last. So thank you to Lauren for creating that poll for us. So yeah, thanks for creating the poll for us. Just make sure that we get that out to our students too, and if we need to update that form, we will through EAC. But I think it was pretty clear. I mean, I think clearer than this one. I mean, this one's kind of like, you get it, and then you kind of get it. So evaluating both of them and seeing what we need to add or take out from those forms.
This is just a general question, but when we were pushing things like this out, we need to be concerned with other campuses like Tempe or West, because we know that agreements are placed there's not to West and other campuses. Should we just be focused on that now?
We would do represent downtown specifically.
Okay.
It wouldn't be bad, it's not like a negative thing to have more meetings, but like, we do represent the downtown schools. Yeah, accurate.
Yeah, so CHS has before Davis's across so CHS has existed for some time. I think like elementary schools even actually based on consultation. So that's one of the things to be aware of. Technically, this is the body of downtown student government. Whether or not it's being feedback in general and so on, it's more important towards wide in there is regionalized to a lot of stuff. And this is responsible traditionally not. And it has traditionally been having a different opinion on all things that we do on the university line. So that's one of those things where basically comes down to your just patient. And you can get yourself, and you can also be praised for that. So it is how you feel comfortable, because that's the only thing that's
Sorry, yeah.
You're good. I do have to take a note on that. It was a CHS student, that's at the year, it was a CHS student on West that should be like that I said. That's what I didn't always have been from the CHS students from all over. But there were also non-CHS students that did. On the whole, is really good. It's but there was an option
optional paragraph response about how you feel about it or why you have it. Because like, you're just like basically the present unless you guys want to do it.
Do you guys want to take this discussion and? Okay, all those in favor of referring to the resolution of the AAC? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Okay, so the only thing I want to say real quick is, one, as far as if you deal with downtown or ASU, it's a really good thing to keep in mind that what the other locations are doing. So like Prop 1, 2, 3, other locations aren't dealing with it, so maybe it would be okay if you're reaching out to other students at locations. Of course, predominantly, we want to be making sure that we are on the ground here reaching out to those students, but also with like the guns on campus legislation, every other location is doing stuff, so we probably would be the location in which we reach out to this location. So that's also a good perspective. The only thing I want to mention as far as the student engagement thing, this is not me bashing surveys, but we're using a lot of surveys, like back surveys. And eventually students are just gonna be like, oh, survey from student government, no. And so I don't know, I don't need a response right now. I just think that we all should put our heads together and think creatively of how else to get student feedback. Because one, it can be hard to have in-depth conversations and in-context conversations in the survey, even though it is sometimes the best way to reach the students. And I'm not saying the EAC shouldn't have done it. I'm just saying that I know we have a lot of surveys going out to the students. And I need your help even too, if they be a great place to reach the students. So also keep that in mind too, if you're always student.
I was also going to say earlier, possibly having like another event or even just with the sites for advice is just making that the theme of the events too. So like in-person surveys, as we did with the Sentinel Express, that worked out really well. So if we could have something like that again with iPads and just like, hey, free pizza, free donut, really well. So.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to Senate Resolution 19 then.
Is it a motion to discuss? Okay.
So this is mine that I wrote, which you guys have all read because you come to the meetings prepared. But I'll just summarize it really quickly. So this is actually something I didn't really know that we had to the state of Arizona. It's called a Mathematics, Science, and Special Education Student Loan Fund. And so it's basically where people going to school at an Arizona university can get funding, get loans if they make a commitment to go back and teach in Arizona public education for the amount of years that they receive the loan plus one. So they go back to the areas in Arizona that need help with their education systems. They kind of go back and teach there for them. And the Senate Bill 1113 grants extra funding, and it also towards this student loan fund, and it also expands the qualifications and eligibility to include schools on Indian reservations as well. So they can get also the extra education from these teachers that are receiving this loan fund. So that being said, it relates to us specifically because as an Arizona State University, a lot of people coming into this are Arizona residents. So not only is it providing great education for them and helping improve the education of the people who will likely eventually attend Arizona State University, it also helps students come to our university and feel more comfortable with paying off their debts and whatnot. That's what I have to say about that. Does anybody have any questions that all those in favor of approving Senate Resolution 19, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Senate Resolution 19 passes. We'll move on to Senate Resolution 20. Is there a vote to discuss?
Motion to discuss.
So this is the resolution that I wrote, and it's with Senate Bill 1122. And so do you guys know what AmeriCorps is? Okay, awesome. So it basically allows members of AmeriCorps who have served for over a year to have in-state tuition. So obviously, if you're in AmeriCorps, you're probably motivated to anything. I mean, it's hard to get into AmeriCorps and you serve the community. So that's obviously a good thing to have at ASU as well. So that's my constitution.
Florida Region's officially now.
Yay. That's good for us. Second. All those in favor of approving Senate Resolution 20, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. On to Senate Resolution 21 for the motion
So this one is really cool, actually. It would support Senate Bill 1215 that would allow individuals earning under $80,000 a year or married couples earning under $160,000 a year to get tax or any other tax so that we can get $2,500 for their tuition. So that'd be just super cool. It's a way to kind of offering higher education or anything. So they can use this money for other tuition. I know. Oh, it doesn't apply to
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, no, it applies to in-state students, I'm sorry.
Just have a question, like, how do they make sure that these students are using them for school?
Essentially, tax process, and the other too is that there's a lot of tax credits. Okay, so likelihood is there's some risks beyond that, but it's not that much.
Second.
All those in favor of approving Senate Resolution 21, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. So everybody, Senate Resolution 21 passes as well. On to Senate Bill 918. Is there a motion to discuss?
So Senate Bill 19 fixes that issue that we've been having for a while now about quorum at BAC. When we had 6 senators, it still said on the document that a minimum of 5 elected senators needed to be there, and that was really difficult for us to obtain. We pulled 6 because finding a time that worked for all 6 of us plus Director of Finance was really difficult. So this will sort of not revamp, but change it to where a certain percentage of whatever Senate we currently have needs to be present, as well as it says a minimum of 1/3 of the current Senate and registered students of the ASU downtown Phoenix campus with 1 or more credit hours, which by our Constitution is any member of USGD. The voting membership have to exceed 11 members.
So anyone who knows the answer is okay. Okay, so I have one question, and I know we already kind of knew this as far as just quorum in general. When we have a minimum of 1/3, we have 10 senators, is a third of 3 or 4?
It rounds out to
Okay,
so at least.
so does it need to be said in here, or is that something that I just,
It says it at least. Oh, wait, does it?
it says a minimum?
Yeah, that was a discussion that we had. Oh,
It's a minimum of 1/3.
oh, yeah.
So if it's like 3.3 or something like that, you have to have at least 3 quarters of power.
Okay, cool. And then my only other question to this also might be me reading it wrong again, and I apologize. I'm trying to make sure that next year's administration won't misunderstand what you were trying to pass on to it. When you say and registered students of ASU have to have fees of 1 credit hour, does that mean the committee cannot vote without at least one student? Or it's just an option for meeting quorum? Because I'm misunderstanding how it helps to meet quorum, or if it's literally required to have a student quorum vote.
I think that part is kind of putting so that if there are members that want to be in DC, because you can just be a student that can be in DC, that as a reminder of that part, and then we have a lot of members that have.
Because there's no minimum amount of registered students. Okay, I'm just making sure, because when I read and, this committee consists of director of finance and 130 and registered students, I was worried that it could be misinterpreted to mean the committee has to have at least a student, so I don't know what you mean by and or I'm just, well, even and or make it to where you wouldn't have to have a or
Yeah, only and have registered students.
Well, I mean and or registered students.
Right, but if the.
Oh, I get what you
option,
mean, then you
know,
get to just registered students in Minnesota.
Yeah.
So, and it also might be something that literally I only see and no one else is going to misinterpret it. That's just how I first read it when I read it, and I wasn't in your guys' discussion because I was like, oh, they want to require to have students being there.
So my thing is, like, the way I read it, I don't know if this is
Yeah.
general, but like, it has like the specific requirement for the Senate, but it doesn't have anything specific for this registered students that don't number right.
Okay. If you think next year's administration will misinterpret it,
Yeah, go.
So are we comfortable with the consideration that we four there, we have then potentially seven or six size because the original 11 caps make sure that there's no time that we ever had the outside people outnumber the senators, giving most of these senators budgetary responsibilities.
So the thing is to not see what we're working with, meetings actually have members of meetings, so they can actually see more information. And once we have to talk about it, what's the maximum, what's the minimum?
I just don't foresee that being an issue in the future. But,
Motion to vote? Or move to vote?
is there a second? All those in favor of approving Senate Bill 19, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Also, Senate Bill 19 passes. There's no one in the audience, so don't do that. But does anyone have any final statements? Okay, Savannah, you're first.
Hello, everyone. I just had two quick things to say. So I was live tweeting your meeting. So I tweeted like ASU DPC scheduled to get physical ticketing booth, and we got 5 retweets, 4 favorites, and 4 followers. Just a retweet. Yeah. So go us. And Ernie was talking about, Brandon and I were talking about surveys a lot. So I want to let you know that there, in your WordPress, there is a poll option. So if you have a post and you want to attach a poll to it, just like giving a poll description, like create a poll on there for you. So that's another tool. That's all. Thank you.
Hey everyone, nice to be here. I had an interesting conference call together, basically, on the issues of the campus system, kind of came up with an action plan for the next 2 weeks. The main thing that we're going to concentrate on right now is basically creating a policy as to where, say for example, if a school trade going back and forth on for an hour and going to try and make it the most concrete way possible, that, like, for example, in Oregon, it's based in Tempe, wants to have an event in the downtown campus. We're trying to come up with a policy of like who covers that event, because that event would benefit the downtown campus, however, that board is based in town. Another thing along with that is we're concentrating on creating a university-wide policy on double dipping, so that that doesn't occur. That's basically when we deal with this, we send finance reports to each other, which will be fun. And then with that, we kind of talked about a long t-shirt cap, or a long sleeve t-shirt cap. Most of the other campuses t-shirt caps are much more expensive than ours. West, for example, has $12 for a t-shirt, and then Polytech has $8.50 to $10.50 for their t-shirts. So that's something that we see myself what we go with that. And once we briefly discuss with the council goes. That's kind of the other gray area of where the event will be subsequently determined by who funds that.
Who funds stuff like that?
For the fun stuff, what was kind of most decided on that we would take responsibility for, like, an event on that if an organization wants to hold an event on our campus, then that respective school or our campus will hold that event. Just so that one needs to be greater.
Raise your hand if you update your Google Calendar regularly and beyond. Okay, so ready this week. Okay, so some people that thought about it a little bit are probably gonna go home and update it. I don't mind if you all send out Google polls, and that's what we prefer, but the reason why we said you all have to have Google calendars so that you can schedule meetings with each other easily is that you as a chair can look at everybody's daily box and say, you're free Wednesday at 6, you're on Wednesday at 6. So like you need to put in their travel times, you need to put in there everything. So if you have a class in Tempe, please put in when you leave that class in Tempe, so we know not to schedule before that. If you guys keep them updated, it really does make everybody's life easier. If you want to go back to Google polls, we can, but I mean, I know Ryan and I were in a year, so we've never been with Google polls, and I think it's a lot more annoying. So just please do that, and that's why I found a statement, I'm sorry, whatever you want. Thank you.
Okay, is there a motion to adjourn that all?
Always bad.
Okay, so. Really quickly, I-Course fees basically pushing the university senate, and we contacted Christian Juarez today to double check to make sure that actually expand. So that's done. What was it? Senate Bill 18 is in place in the approved section, and I do not believe we voted on it yet. So that is something to remember, and something that was tabled, so it should have showed up on last agenda. So let's try to fix that. And another last two things are House Bill 2548. I don't think you guys are going to want to basically deal with this, but just know that the board reading it this one, this is basically an attempt to redefine free speech zones on campus, but it doesn't really redefine free speech zones at all. The current one is actually more strict than this other one is, even though it's trying to be more free speech. And it has a $500,000 penalty if you violate it. So it's going to be a lovely cash cow for a lot of people if that actually passes. So that's something that we don't like, but that's coming up this week, so that might be something interesting. Finally, thank you to the user for giving a good reason or ended up putting in their name on commercial paper to speak. That actually tells me that it actually works. For those of you who do not, who are newer, yours is actually registered. We're going to send you that information later. So thanks to Jackson, Karina, Savannah, Eric, Caitlin, Marianne, Emily, Jade, and Riley for putting that in. It actually is making a difference that we have about 20 people on a bill that don't expect to care about, even though that bill actually got a very rocky start for the legislators. So that's why, even if it says 7-0, two of those people hated that bill. And they voted yes just to send it along. So there is a lot to go, even when we have unanimous. So that is all. Have a good one.
Sorry, final statement. I'd like to say that thank you, Ryan, for bothering the crap out of me. He kept on bugging me about that. Hey, go on my program. Okay, I'll do that, Ryan. But I actually did it because he bothered me. So, do you bother people this way? Just saying. I'm not saying that you should do it more. I'm just saying. Thank you.
I was going to suggest that we hold town hall meetings for our respective colleges to kind of explain legislation to them and connect with them over these types of things.
Moving forward. We can't talk about it, it's a final statement, it's not actually just me being, it's me saying, okay, we're gonna go for it. Anybody else have things? Okay, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning the meeting at 4:51, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Nice starting now. No, it's not.
You didn't know?
No. Why are you